Good morning. I woke up with the verses that I had read on my last video going through me to reprove elders without favoritism or partiality. And it says before everyone to publicly reprove. And I just feel this hasn't been done, brothers. And I know I'm just a little sister, and Paul was speaking to Timothy, but he did tell Timothy to be a pattern to the believers in word and conduct and love and faith and purity. And so I'm just going to post this because I don't feel certain ones have been reproved. And I do feel that certain ones have been, quote, reproved, but that's been excommunicating, and it's been calling them men of death and things like that when they were speaking about concerns about immorality and about brothers being lied about who addressed these patterns of immorality and things in the Living Stream Ministry office, but also in various situations in the local churches. So I'm going to mention 3 more cases. And again, this is in love because no one who loves the Lord and loves his body should tolerate the abuse of little ones or of the saints at the hands of leading ones. And these are all things that have been reported to elders, and nothing was done. So I'm going to speak about them. So the first one is David Kangas, Brother Ron, your son. He has sexually assaulted or harassed and or harassed multiple sisters that have come to me. And so by the hand of 2 or 3 witnesses, or at the count of 2 or 3 witnesses, I do feel I have the grounds. At least one of those sisters is very, very close to me. But another was, we were fellow serving ones in Southern California. And the allegations I have heard of from these sisters, or what they have told me, is from whispering in their ear, something about a rock song that went back, and this is while a sister was in the training, David Kangas coming and whispering in her ear, I heard Eternal Flame last night. And by the way, David, if you're listening to this, you were a married brother at the time, and you're whispering in a trainee sister's ear about a love song. That's not appropriate. Number 2, inappropriate texts about how a sister looks at Bibles for America. And the sister said, this is confusing because he's a married brother. Another is a sister who called me in tears saying that you, David Kangas, got to the point of getting pictures of her, both of you being married, pictures of her in lingerie, and trying to arrange to have sex with her in her car outside her work. So I know allegations have been brought to you, or accusations, whatever, Brother Ron, about your son, and he was transferred from the full-time training to Bibles for America. And that does not deal with a sinning pattern, a sinning brother. And so I say this in love. David, you're just a year older than me, and I love you and Kim very much, and your kids. But these kind of behaviors need to be addressed. Number 3 is, I'm just going to say it, is my own daughter. And she was molested by the grandson of Benson Phillips. And when I went to multiple saints about it, I got 0 response when I texted Tom Little, Anna Phillips, and Karis Favors, or Karis, sorry, that's her maiden name, Obi and Karis, who were hosting my daughter at the time and would not allow my daughter to come into the house if Karis wasn't home, to not have any appearance of evil with her being in the house with her cousin-in-law, a male, and their daughter. And so Christy had to stay outside of the house. And in many of those times, she was, against her will, sexually molested. She came home and she was still a minor, and she said, Mom, can you get me pregnant without having actual sex? And I said, no, sweetie. But she was super bothered, and she said repeatedly no to this perpetrator. And she said she went to the mother, Anna, and Anna just said, boys will be boys. Well, I have tried to address this. I have alluded to it in my blog. I have tried to address it by texting the three, Tom Little, who denied my daughter the permission to live in the sister's house and instead felt good about her living where she could not even come home if the sister wasn't home. Nobody made arrangements for my daughter to be safe somewhere. She was a 17-year-old and just couldn't come home until sometimes 3 a.m. So she'd sit outside and get eaten by mosquitoes and get molested. So these are, that's a second example. So David Kingus, the minor, who was a minor at the time, son of Ben and Anna Phillips. And then number 3 is the elder named Robbie, who's an ex-elder because he was excommunicated, but I don't think there was a public reprove and a public rebuke, because I heard of the things he did in Fairborn, Ohio, where he was drugging and molesting male students in the church off the campus. And all I heard many details about it, but then I heard opposers cannot know about this. And so Brother Benson Phillips went to Fairborn to keep it under wraps, but also to deal with this brother. But that doesn't follow the Bible. So when there is perpetration of sin, and there would be many, many witnesses to this one, because this wasn't a one case thing, it was multiple brothers. I don't know if there were also sisters molested, but there were brothers for sure. And I won't mention any more names except that brother's name is Robbie. He was an elder in Fairborn. So with anyone with details, feel free to post. But I'm not going to stop. These are just 3 more examples of things not being handled properly when there is sinning. To molest a 17-year-old is sin. It's also illegal. So yes, my daughter should have just gone to the legal authorities, although it's very hard to prove things aren't consensual. But if someone goes to a boy's mother and says that he's doing things and I say no, and she says, oh, and laughs and says boys will be boys, maybe the cops wouldn't take it seriously, but we should in the church. And my daughter hadn't ever even kissed a boy, had never kissed anyone other than, her family members. Anyway, that's another story. Maybe that will be next, about some of you brothers in the church in Shoreline. But anyway, these things can't keep going on, and I have talked about them in more private scenarios. But those verses in 1 Timothy 5:19-21, it gives me permission not only to, if I feel to reprove publicly, but also to hold you brothers accountable for not reproving publicly when there are multiple witnesses of certain things. And maybe there aren't multiple witnesses, but if you ignore the one witness, maybe if you didn't ignore the one, she or he could bring up more witnesses for you to be adequate in your public reproving of an elder. Thank you.